So, Hare Krishna, dear friends, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Hope you all are good. May Lord Shri Krishna always bless us all, bless all of us. So, in our last session, yesterday's session, I think we read till verse number 31st of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So, let us take up few more verses and read them and try to understand through the purports of Swami Srila Prabhupada. So, with a small prayer, let us start our today's reading session, Bhagavad Gita reading session. So, Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So yesterday we read Nacha Shreya Anupashyami Hatva Swajana Mahave Nakankshe Vijayam Krishna Nacha Rajyam Sukhani Cha. I do not see any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in the battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom or happiness. So Arjun Ji is talking to Lord Shri Krishna and he is describing, he is speaking to Lord Shri Krishna and describing his situation. So next series of verses 32, 33, 34, 35, 4 verses are together and Arjun Ji will describe more about his mental state, about his mental situation to Lord Shri Krishna. So 32nd verse, another very beautiful verse. Kim no rajyena Govinda, kim no rajyena Govinda, kim bhogera jivitena va. Kim no rajyena Govinda, kim bhogera jivitena va. Yesham arthe kangshitam no na, yesham arthe kangshitam no, rajyam bhogaha sukhani cha. Wonderful verse. किम नो राज्येन गोविंदा किम भोगैर जीवितेन वा येषामर्थे कांक्षितं नो राज्यं भोगः सुखानि च. Kim, what use naha to us Rajyena is kingdom, Govinda, O Krishna. So Arjun Ji is addressing Lord Shri Krishna here as Govinda. Bhogehe, enjoyment, Jivitena, by living, va, either, Esham, for whom arthe, Esham arthe, for the matter of Kangshitam, desired, Kangshitam naha, our, Rajyam, kingdom, Bhogaha, material enjoyment, Sukhani, all happiness, cha also, Sukhani chaha. Kim no Rajyena Govinda, kim bhogera jivitena va, yesham arthe kangshitam no, Rajyam bhoga sukhani cha. Wonderful verse. Kim no Rajyena Govinda, kim bhogera jivitena va, enjoyment, jivitena, by living. Yesham arthe, जिनके लिए, for whom, येषाम अर्थे कांक्षितम नो राज्यम भोगः सुखानि च. Then 32nd, 33rd. So 32nd, 33rd, 34th, 35th, they are all together. So next verse 33rd. So त इमे अवस्थिता युद्धे प्राणास्त्यक्त्वा धनानि च. त इमे अवस्थिता युद्धे प्राणास्त्यक्त्वा धनानि च. आचार्यः पितरः पुत्रास्तथैव च पितामहः. आचार्य पितरा पुत्रा तथैव च पितामह. Wonderful verse, another wonderful verse. तैमे अवस्थिता युद्धे प्राणास्त्यक्त्वा धनानि च. तैमे अवस्थिता युद्धे प्राणास्त्यक्त्वा धनानि च. आचार्यः पितरः पुत्रास्तथैव च पितामह. So कांक्षितं राज्यं भोगः सुखानि, then they, all of them, ime, these, avasthitah, situated yuddhe, in this battlefield, pranan, lives, tyaktva, giving up, dhanani, riches, cha also, acharya, teachers, pitraha, fathers, putraha, sons, tatha, as well as, eva, certainly, cha also, pitamaha, grandfathers. तैमे अवस्थिता युद्धे प्राणास्त्यक्त्वा धनानि च. आचार्यः पितरः पुत्रास्तथैव पितामहः. Then 34th verse, next verse. मातुलः श्वशुरः पौत्रः श्यालः संबन्धिनस्तथा. मातुलः श्वशुरा पौत्रा श्याल संबन्धिनस्तदा तथा. एतान्न हन्तुमिच्छामि घनतोऽपि मधुसूदनः. मातुलः श्वशुरा पौत्रा श्याला संबन्धिनस्तथा. मातुलः श्वशुरा पौत्रा श्याला संबन्धिनस्तथा. एतान् हन्तिं न इच्छामि घ्नतोऽपि मधुसूदनः. मातुलः, maternal uncles. Swashurah, father-in-law. Putrah, grandsons. Shyallah, brothers-in-law. Sambandhinah, relatives. Tatha, Sambandhinas tatha, relatives. Tatha, as well. Etan, all these. Na, never. Hantum, for killing. Ikshami, na, hantum, never. Hantum, for killing. Ikshami, do I wish. Gnatana, gnataha, being killed. Gnataha, घ्नतो अपि मधुसूदनः. So gnataha, being killed, api, even Madhusudanah, O killer of the demon Madhu, Krishna, api, even. So wonderful verse. Matulaha shashura patra shyalla sambandhinastada tatha etan hantumikshami घ्नतो अपि मधुसूदनः. Then 35th verse. अपि त्रैलोक्यराजस्य हेतुः किं नु मही कृते. अपि त्रैलोक्यराजस्य हेतुः किं नु मही कृते. निहत्य धार्तराष्ट्रान्नः का प्रीतिः स्यात् जनार्दनः. निहत्य धार्तराष्ट्रान्नः का प्रीतिः स्यात् जनार्दनः. अपि त्रैलोक्यराजस्य हेतो किं नु मही कृते. निहत्य धार्तराष्ट्रान्नः का प्रीतिः स्यात् जनार्दन. So Arjun Ji, he addressed Lord Shri Krishna as Govinda, then Janardana, Madhusudana, Etan Gnotyapi Madhusudana. So by different names Arjun Ji here he is addressing. So wonderful words. Api trailokya rajasya hetoh kimnu mahi krite nihatya dharta rashtrannah ka priti syad janardanah. So api trailokya of three worlds rajasya. Trailokya Rajasya, of the three worlds, Kingdom, Rajyasya of the kingdom, Hetoho, in exchange, Kim, what to speak? What to speak of? No, only Mahikrite, for the sake of earth, Nihatya, by killing Dhartarashtran, the sons of Dhritarashtra, Naha, our, Ka, what, Pritihi, pleasure, Shyat, will there be, Janardana, O maintainer of all living entities. So wonderful verse, a wonderful translation together, the translation of all the 4 verses. O Govinda, of what avail to us are kingdoms, happiness, or even life itself? Of what avail to us are kingdoms, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them, yesham arthe kangshitam, for all those, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed in this battlefield. Of what, O Govinda, of what avail to us are kingdoms, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed in this battlefield. O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, father-in-law, grandsons, brother-in-law, and all relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties, ताई में अवस्थिता युद्धे प्राणास्त्यक्त्वा धनानि च, they are ready to give up their life and properties. Who are ready? Teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, father-in-law, grandsons, brother-in-law, and all relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me. Then why should I wish to kill them, though I may survive? O maintainer of all creatures, Janardana, O maintainer of all creatures, I am not prepared. Maintainer of all creatures. So Krishna here is mentioned, maintainer of all creatures, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for 3 worlds, let alone this earth. So what to speak of earth? I am not there to fight. I am not going to fight with them in exchange for the 3 worlds, the kingdom of the 3 worlds. Trailokya Rajyena, Trailokya Rajasya, Heto Kimnu Mahikrite, Nihatya Dhartarashtranaha, Ka Pritihi Syajjanardanaha. So wonderful 4 verses in continuation. And Swami Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport and explains. Arjuna here addressed Lord Krishna as Govinda because Krishna is the object of all pleasure for cows and the senses. So Arjuna has addressed Lord Krishna as Govinda because Krishna is the object of all pleasure for cows and the senses. By using this significant word, Arjuna indicates what will satisfy his senses. Although Govinda is not meant for satisfying our senses, if we try to satisfy the senses of Govinda, then automatically our senses are satisfied. Materially, everyone wants to satisfy his senses, and he wants God to be the order supplier for such satisfaction. The Lord will satisfy the senses of living entities as much as they deserve, but do not to the extent that they may covet. But when one takes the opposite way, namely, when one tries to satisfy the senses of the Govinda without desiring to satisfy one's own senses, then by the grace of Govinda, all desires of the living entity are satisfied. So wonderful points Swami Srila Prabhupada is telling in the purport. And there is more. So Govinda, Lord Shri Krishna, one of the name of Govinda, Lord Krishna's one of the name of Lord Krishna is Govinda, which means one who satisfies. Object of pleasure, because Krishna is the object of pleasure. for cows and the senses. Our senses are actually demanding Lord Shri Krishna. And even cows, they are very, very much affectionate towards Lord Shri Krishna. And Krishna is also in that way. Govinda, one who gives pleasure to the cows, or the cows derive pleasure from Krishna, and yes, the senses, they derive pleasure from Krishna, or Krishna is the object. Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing. Arjuna has addressed here Govinda because Krishna is the object of all pleasure for cows and the senses. Object of all pleasure. So senses really derive transcendental pleasure from Lord Shri Krishna. And this significant word Arjuna indicates that what will satisfy his senses. So Arjun Ji here, he is not satisfied. He don't want to fight. So that's why he says, addressing Lord Krishna as Govinda. Oh Govinda, please understand, senses derive pleasure from you, and you very well know what my senses are demanding at the present moment, what my mind and senses are demanding. So Arjuna indicates what will satisfy his senses. Although Govinda is not meant for, Swami Srila Prabhupada is writing, although Govinda is not meant for satisfying our senses. Although Govinda is not meant for satisfying our senses, if we try to, although Govinda is not meant for satisfying our senses, because he is the Supreme Lord. He is no one's order carrier, Swami Srila Prabhupada writes. If we try to satisfy the senses of Govinda, then automatically our senses are satisfied. Materially, everybody wants to satisfy his senses, and he wants God to be his order supplier for such satisfaction. So that is the situation, that is the condition of all of us. Those who have fallen to this material world, we want to satisfy our mind and senses, and we want God. People, they approach God. We see there are so many people who are engaged in worshipping the Supreme Lord and constantly praying Him. But what for? They are praying. They want the Supreme Lord to be their order supplier. Most of us, all of us in this material world, we want the Supreme Lord to be our order supplier. The way our senses and mind demands, we approach God. Many pious people, Artho, Artharthi, Jigyasu, Gyani. So Artho and Artharthi, Artho, people in distress and people in want of some material opulence, material blessings, they approach God. But the purpose is that because they know that God can fulfill their desires, and God can supply, anything, everything belongs to the Supreme Lord, and God can give anything to anybody. So when people come to this knowledge, the pious people, not everyone come to this knowledge. At least those who understands this, they are also very pious. Pious souls only understands this. So they approach the God in want of some material, they approach God with a desire to gain some material profit. And Swami Srila Prabhupada writes, if we try to satisfy the senses of Govinda, then automatically our senses are satisfied. But it is the other way around. Instead of people in this material world, those who are fallen, all the fallen living entities, they are trying to satisfy their senses independently. Swami Srila Prabhupada always takes the example of, all the limbs of a body. He takes a story, he takes an analogy. They rebelled against the stomach. Hands and legs and all, they said only stomach is eating. Whatever food is supplied, it all goes to the stomach. So we will not serve stomach anymore. The hands and legs and all, they thought we are working for the stomach. All of us are simply the head, and the legs. Every day, if we see the hands, legs, and all, they are working to get food, and the food is all the food goes to the stomach. So one Swami Srila Prabhupada in a takes this analogy in a beautiful way. He explains that one day all the hands and legs, they went for strike, that we are not going to work for the stomach anymore. Whatever food we get, it's all supplied to the stomach. So then when the stomach is not supplied food, the hands and legs, the head, nobody gets the energy, nobody gets the nutrition in that sense, and all the limbs of the body, they become weak if the stomach is not supplied. But if the stomach is supplied good nutritious food, then automatically all the limbs of the body are nourished. So that analogy, and that is mentioned because the senses are part and parcel of the Supreme Being. If we water the root of a tree or a plant, then all the leaves and twigs are automatically, the whole tree, if we water the root, then automatically the whole tree, all the branches, all the tree, all the leaves, everything is nourished. Yasmin tushte jagat tushte, that is the injunction in the Vedas. If the Supreme Lord is satisfied, then all the living entities, and we are also one of them. Janardana, one of the name here, Arjun Ji mentions. Arjun Ji called Krishna as Janardana, maintainer of all living entities. So he is the maintainer of all living entities. That's why Brahmanas are always among the four Varnas. One class of men, Brahmanas, they are always engaged in satisfying the Supreme Lord by the process of yajna. They gives ahuti in the yajna to satisfy the Supreme Lord, and in that way the whole creation, the entire creation, every living entity in turn are satisfied. There comes a wonderful pastime, a story in Mahabharata, when Durvasha Muni approached Pandavas when they were in exile, and he approached Pandavas with a lot of his disciples. And there also, most of us know that Draupadi ji and Pandavas were not were in a situation where they could not feed the Durvasha Muni and all his students and disciples. So at that time, Lord Sri Krishna immediately he approached there, and because he accepted some leftover, it is said some tulsi leaf or a grain of rice or whatever, he accepted very little, and because of that all the disciples of Durvasha Muni and Durvasha Muni himself, they were all completely satisfied. Their hunger and their thirst and everything was completely satisfied because of that, because Lord Sri Krishna accepted. So Swami Srila Prabhupada is that Siddhanta, that concept Swami Srila Prabhupada is explaining here. That wonderful concept Swami Srila Prabhupada is explaining. Materially, everyone wants to satisfy his senses, and he wants God to be the order supplier for such satisfaction. The Lord will satisfy, and it is also there. The Lord will satisfy the senses of the living entities as much as they deserve. One automatically, each one of us, we are desiring so many things. We are desiring our sense satisfaction, we are desiring satisfaction of our mind, but we are in our day to day life, we are getting also, but we are getting to the degree we deserve. Sense satisfaction, mental satisfaction, intellectual satisfaction, all of us are getting, each one of us, in different degrees and to the degree we deserve, and not to the extent that may covet. But if one thinks that by his material intelligence and by his cheating and all, one can get more material sense satisfaction, so that is not possible. But when one takes the opposite way, namely when one tries to satisfy the senses of Govinda without desiring, so this is known as bhakti. When one tries to satisfy the senses of Govinda without desiring to satisfy one's own senses, then by the grace of Govinda all desires of the living entity are satisfied. So if one tries in that way, that is real devotional service in devotion, service in love to the Supreme, without any reservation, without any personal ambition, without any reservation. If one tries to satisfy the Supreme or Govinda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then automatically by the grace of Govinda all desires of the living entity are satisfied. So if one submits oneself, if one surrenders to the Supreme Being, if one surrenders to His instructions, to His orders, if one tries to satisfy the Supreme Being, then automatically by the grace of the Supreme, by the grace of Govinda, all desires of the living entity are satisfied. So wonderful, very wonderful explanation of this concept. Watering the root nourishes every leaves. Feeding the stomach nourishes all the limbs of the body. So Arjuna's deep affection for community and family members is exhibited here partly due to his natural compassion for them. So because all the friends and relatives and family members and for his whole community, because Arjuna was having natural compassion, Arjun Ji was having natural compassion. So his deep affection is exhibited here. And he is therefore not prepared to fight. Everyone wants to show his opulence to friends and relatives. But Arjun Ji fears that all his relatives and friends will be killed in the battlefield and he will be unable to share his opulence and after victory. This is a typical calculation of material life. So another very important concept which is discussed here is, Arjun Ji is saying, Yesham arthe kangshitam no rajya. Yesham arthe kangshitam nah rajyam bhoga sukhani. Yesham arthe kangshitam nah rajyam bhoga sukhani cha. So people in this world, this is another concept. We want, all material possessions. People want atha graha kshetra sutapta vitte janasya mohayam. Why people they want all these things? Because it is with friends and relatives actually that one enjoys all these things. Arjuna fears. Everyone wants to show his opulence to friends and relatives. If one has no friends, no relatives, Swami Srila Prabhupada always explains, that is the force. Swajanaha. One want to show his opulence. One want to show to his friends and relatives, and one share his opulence after victory with friends and relatives. And Arjun Ji is fearing that all these relatives and friends will be killed in the battlefield. Then what is the use? What is the use of gaining those things? What is the use of gaining kingdom when our own men will not be there to enjoy that kingdom? Or nobody will be there to whom we will be able to show our success. So people in this world, they are too much, the competitive spirit. That is because we want to show everyone that we are also capable. We want to prove ourselves. Everyone wants to prove himself in this world, and that's why there is a lot of competition and rivalry. And our victory, our success, we want to show it to everyone, to all our relatives and friends. If a person is alone, he will never ever run for all these things. Only because of Atagreha Chetra Sutapta Vitter. So because of our tendency, because of everyone's tendency to, Swami Srila Prabhupada always explains, to become Lord of what all, we survey, a living entity want to become Lord. Iksha Dvesha, everybody is fallen in this world because of Iksha and Dvesha. And out of Dvesha, Dvesha, one want to, prove himself the best. And one is always striving. So this is a typical calculation of material life. This is a typical calculation of material life. The transcendental life is, however, different, Swami Srila Prabhupada explains. In contrast, the transcendental life is, however, different. Since a devotee wants to satisfy the desires of the Lord,